What is up, everybody? I am Mega Short Fuse, and today the topic will be sort of me playing Devil's Advocate, or at least you will perceive it as me playing Devil's Advocate. Now, before we get to the topic at hand, I just want to stress this. I do not want you to leave a comment unless you watch the whole video, and I do not want you to leave a comment and get involved in this debate I'm trying to start unless you have something actually substantial to say. I want solid arguments, I want civilized conduct, and I do not want mindless ramblings or just yelling at EA for no reason whatsoever other than they're evil, you don't even know why, you just want to yell at them. So, I cannot stress this enough, civilized conduct, solid arguments. And if you're gonna be negative, please, for the love of God, have something to back it up. So, a lot of people on my Mass Effect 3 possible ending DLC video have commented that, well, they've left a lot of comments hating on EA and calling it the worst thing since, I'm gonna paraphrase here, Hitler. Worst thing since Hitler. And I'm here today to, believe it or not, defend one of the biggest publishers on planet Earth. Let me start off by saying that this will not necessarily reflect my own personal views. I watched both my Mass Effect videos, and while I was very cynical, I was very, very butthurt about the endings. I think I made some valid points in those videos. As emotional as I was, or as emotional as I came across, I think I had some good points to get across. For example, if the ending is priced, it will feel like a cop-out. And if it's free, it's gonna be a tremendously great story arc that transcends video games and enters real life. That sort of thing. So, a lot of people have been hating on EA because of the Mass Effect ending. They have attributed it to EA wanting to rush the game out of the door. At least that's what I attributed it to, as the sole reason Mass Effect 3 is so bad. And when I made the first video, I was very discouraged and emotional about what had happened with Mass Effect. And playing it, I've played it a lot more since, and I can tell you that the multiplayer is fun, and it's not a worthless addition at all. It's actually quite entertaining if you know what you're doing. But that besides the point. And a lot of people have just been jumping on this bandwagon to destroy EA, calling it the worst publisher on planet Earth, calling it the most evil corporation to ever grace our collective minds? I don't know where I'm going with this. That's a lie. The gist of what I'm trying to say here basically is that there are a lot more worse things than EA out there, in the gaming world even, and I'll touch upon that. But let's focus on the thing that is making EA to be perceived as evil currently. The Mass Effect ending. So far, every bit of DLC has been free. And let me just establish a border. The Extended Cut DLC is not the ending, it's building upon the ending, and it's not the thing that everybody's cramming for. That's besides the point. This is a fad. This is a fad just through and throughout. People hating on EA, you will recover. You will stop it, and you will see that your reasons aren't that valid. Your reasons extend to basically the ending was bad. That is valid. I can understand that. I can understand why you would feel that, but you cannot just throw the whole game under the bus and call it a worthless, horrible piece of shit just because EA. That is not an argument, and that is not something that can just support its own weight. That's not an argument. That's bad. Furthermore, distancing ourselves from Mass Effect, EA is one of the most original publishers around. Think about it. What did Activision do? Let's go back to the real evil corporation here. What happened to people hating on Activision? One ending and one DLC, or one promised DLC later, and EA is back at the top of the Evil Corp list. what happened to Activision? Remember Guitar Hero? Guitar Hero got run into the ground so bad that I am the only person in my country, I am pretty sure, who bought Guitar Hero Warriors of Rock. Tony Hawk. Remember that? I don't, because it got just boiled down to a plastic board on the floor which didn't work. On the other side of the fence is EA, who actually invest in new IPs. You can give them as much shit as you want. I'm gonna leave it to you to debate whether that it holds weight, but there is one reason why you shouldn't hate on EA, and it's on the screen now. Shadows of the Damned. No one has heard of this. It got neglected badly. 20,000 copies sold overall. Notice who published it. Notice who published it. That's right. EA. EA financed this game from Suda51, who's just big with gamers, but no one buys his goddamn games. EA took this chance. Kingdoms of Amalur is the same thing. Kingdoms of Amalur was a risk. It was a new IP from a developer who hadn't proved it. Who hadn't proved themselves, and it struck gold. EA is willing to take risks that publishers just aren't ready to take nowadays. EA is ready to stick its neck out and throw a huge pile of money onto an untested property, onto something that hasn't established itself on the market, and run with it, and whatever happens, happens. Furthermore, their big titles are consistently good. Mass Effect. Give it shit all you want. It's one of the greatest franchises of this current generation, if not the greatest. Need for Speed. That is still good, even though it had its bumps in the road with freaking Undercover, but that's a different story. Those are the Battlefield even. That's like bi-yearly. It comes out once every 2 years, and that is always good, neglecting the Battlefield 3 campaign. Still, EA, what I'm trying to say here is, EA is very much capable of being a very good publisher. They are capable of sticking their necks out, just taking risks, of producing new titles, fresh ideas, and giving developers the financing they need to get stuff out there. What else? If you're still not convinced, think about this. How much are you really, really willing to hate EA, and why?'t seen some very strange reactions, like, they're hating EA because it's popular. That's the other thing. You are hating EA because it's popular. Like I said, it's a fad, and you're adapting to it. You are trying to yell and put in negative criticism just so your voice will be heard. And that's stupid. That is dumb. Negativity will always take second place to a well-structured argument. You will be listened to, at least, when you're trying to be articulate and make sense. If you're shouting at the top of your lungs, no one is going to pay any attention to you because everybody's just clamoring to do the same thing you're doing. So on that front, hating EA is sort of a reflex. It's a group thing. It's a peer thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Your reasons for hating EA are no more valid than your reasons for hating, I don't know, Madden. Some people don't like it. You might not like it, and there's a group of people who don't like it either. And they yell at the top of their lungs that it sucks. It happens. Call of Duty gets that. Every big franchise gets that. Point is, this is not based on solid evidence. It's based on preference, really. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but that doesn't make your opinion facts. That's what I'm trying to say. Look, bottom line is this, so as to not stretch this video out too long. EA is not an evil corporation. Your reasons for hating EA are completely, if not made up, at least dumb. And if you think about it, you will see the error of your ways. Now, again, I'm not one to talk either, because I made 2 videos basically bashing EA, but like I said, I'm playing devil's advocate here. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. I seriously encourage you to share this around if you think people will be interested in starting the debate I mentioned earlier in the video. I really hope that you comment, but please, again, do not leave stupid comments. Do not leave comments that are just fruitless and without any actual solid arguments behind them. I want to start a discussion. I do not want to start a flame war. So thank you for watching. Share this around if you know like-minded people who want to get involved in this debate, and I will see you later.